Hey, is this thing on you? Hey, thank you so much for coming by. Asiyesikia la mkuu huvunjika mguu. These are the things I wish I knew when I was 20 years old. My 20s were excruciating and I'm glad it's over. So let's get right into it. When I was 20, I was just so clueless, I just didn't know anything. I thought I knew a lot, but I didn't know. I was feeling grown, and it just ended up costing me later on down the road. One of the things that I wish I definitely knew when I was 20 is that it's important to work on your inner self. When I say inner self, is your spirit. It's important to grow your spirit, to feed your spirit, to be a good person, to cultivate good karma, to do good deeds in order for your future to harvest good deeds. You know how they say you plant good seeds and they grow to be wonderful trees or beautiful fruits. So I wish I would have paid more attention to that. I would. By the way, guys, if you hear some background noise, there's a lot of construction going on in this area. So anyway, I wish I would have listened to advice more. Like, when my mother used to tell me, why are you doing that? You shouldn't do this and that and that. You're wasting your time, stuff like that. And I never listened. I never listened when I was 20. I thought I knew everything. I was unconscious of how I behaved. I didn't think about how my actions would affect me in the future. And that's a big thing. You have to think about every single thing that you do. There's a reaction for every action. There is a reaction and a consequence, so you always would you have to think first. You just can't be reckless and do whatever you want. And people say, yeah, you're young, you got all the time in the world. No, you don't. And that's one of the things that I used to live by. I wish I never had that mindset that I'm young and I have all the time in the world. Let me just explain a little bit further. What I mean is, if you are wasting your time doing nonsense, say drinking and drugging, just doing things that are not constructive, time will go by very fast. And most people will tell you you have all the time in the world. But if you are wasting your time doing nonsense, time will really go fast. And before you know it, you're in your 30s and 40s and you're still not organized. And that's now when, your mental state hasn't even matured. Now you're trying to mature because you wasted all your time on some upuzi. Unajua, you just wasted your time on nonsense. That's what I mean. But yes, there's time for everything, of course, around. And that's all I remember. I don't. Where did the time go? So your 20s is the perfect time for you to be planning your future. You should already be even saving. I wish I was more financially literate. You have to start educating yourself on finances, especially this day and age, and especially Uku Kenya. You know how it is. People start being very conscious of your financial future by age 20, even 19, 20. You should be thinking about these things. Don't wait till you're 30. Don't listen to people who are telling you you have all the time in the world. No, you do not. Start at your 20s. Another thing I wish I knew at my 20s was, this hookup culture is ridiculous. You do not have to hook up with everybody and anybody. You do not have to engage in wild sexual escapades that will cost you. You're taking away from your soul. You're taking away from your essence, your your aura, your goodness, your greatness. And then I wish I would have paid attention to the people I was sleeping with, because now as I'm older, I realize that, oh my gosh, those are souls. You're exchanging spirits with people. It's not just sex, it's a spiritual exchange. And this person you're hooking up with, maybe a horrible person, has demons on them. They have baggage on their back following them, and the people they slept with have baggages on their back, and they have karma they're dealing with. And then here you are with your karma, with your baggages, and all these spirits, believe it or not, mix and mesh. And we'll get more into that. Like, I wish I knew that. Like, you should not be sleeping around with anybody and everybody, And so you have to be so conscious. You have to take time in hooking up with somebody. There's don't be fooled. Don't look at a rap video and say, yeah, I hooked up. Or look at these shows like, a long time ago it was Sex and the City, or these shows where people just hook up. Don't be that person, and it will change your personality. I remember some of the people I hooked up with, they were violent and angry and insecure, and it made me also have angry thoughts. Like, no lie, no kidding. Like, I used to have this ex-boyfriend who was violent, and hooking up with him, and everybody used to be like, you should have never hooked up with that person, because nowadays you're acting this way, nowadays you're acting that way. And I didn't think about those things. And when now I sit back, I'm like, oh my gosh, ever since I hooked up with that person, my mentality changed. So you mesh with the people you hook up with, you become those people. So you can imagine, if you're just going around hooking up with everybody, that's where I believe mental illness comes from. You have all these demons and spirits and confusion within you, and you will develop a mental illness. Believe it or not, some mental illness, we can avoid it if we at least cherish ourselves, and we cherish the space and who we let invite into our space. I wish I spoke up more for myself, when I would just let things slide. Or if I was at my job, because I was in the US, that's where I spent my 20s. And at the workplace, you work whenever. When you're younger, you can get a job very easily. But at the workplace, I worked as a nurse's aide, and sometimes they will give certain people some very shitty assignments. And if you don't speak up, you'll always get stuck with those assignments. So I used to just never speak up. I felt timid. I didn't have paperwork. But yeah, I worked without paperwork. There's a way around that. But I just was very timid. I was afraid to speak up. I was intimidated by other people at the workplace who were like, I was just a timid person. I didn't speak up much, and I would always take shitty assignments and not say anything. I would just like, okay, I'll do it. But now, I speak up. If I see something, I'll speak up. If I feel violated or, disrespected, I'll definitely speak up. But I wish I knew that in my 20s. I would have avoided a lot of pain and a lot of that feeling of, oh my gosh, they are disrespecting me. Okay, so I wish I would have spoke up more in my 20s. So, but you have to learn. Another thing, I wish I believed in myself more when I was in my 20s. I believe if I had believed in myself more, I would have been further ahead in life. And, I don't necessarily regret my 20s or some of the life lessons. I understand that these are life lessons I had to go through to shape my character. But I wish I would have spoke up more. And you just don't speak up mindlessly without thinking. You have to think and then process things and speak up. So I wish I would have exercised more. I would have thought about my health more. I would have started working out at my 20s. We never think, we just, when you're 20, you just think you are so invincible, like you're gonna be 20 forever. And if anybody tells you something, you're just like, I'm still young. But I wish I would have exercised more, and I felt like, I would have been in a much better place health-wise. And so those are some of the things that I wished I would have paid more attention to in my 20s. And I wish I wouldn't have drunk so much alcohol. I wish I wasn't just always thinking about going out and partying and hanging out, because now that I think about that, was such a waste of time. It was a waste of resources. It was a waste of just, and my character got really, I wasn't a good person because I was just always drinking so much, not thinking about my future, not thinking about money, not thinking about those things. So I advise you, if you are in your 20s, please do not spend all your time drinking alcohol, partying. Do not be hooking up with every and anybody. It's your business. But I advise against it, because it will definitely chip away from your innocence and your character that we are born with at birth. As you grow up, circumstances, situations come along and they just strip off that innocence, and then you're just this big grown that's angry and bitter at life, and that can't get you together. Then you're gonna start being depressed and, oh, where did time go? Now I'm this, I don't have that. Or I hooked up with this person, I wasn't careful, now I'm sick, now it's this. No, don't live your life recklessly. Do not, just because you're young. Don't just do anything because you're young. You have to think about your future, even though the future is not promised. You live in the now, but you also have to know that, what about tomorrow? Because there is tomorrow, okay? But of course, we have to focus on now and always do your best in the present moment, in consideration of your future, okay? It shouldn't be about your future so much, but you should definitely be responsible with your present in order to make your future easier if you make it to the future, right? If you're in your 20s, leave something in the comments. What are some of the things you're struggling with? Or if you're past 20s, if you're in your 30s, what do you regret? Like, what do you wish you would have known? Oh, I wish also I would have I had a better relationship with my mom or my parents. I wish I wasn't so selfish. In my 20s, it was just about me, 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 me. You don't think about your parents, or you don't think about people who are helping you or who are there for you. So I wish I would have been more mindful of that. And so I don't know what else I got other than, yeah, that's something. Those are some of the things that I wish I would have paid more attention to in the 20s. Oh yeah, also I wish I wouldn't have worried so much about what people thought, because I feel like that shaped a lot of the decisions I made back then. Like I wonder what they're gonna think of this outfit. I wonder what they're gonna think about my man. I wonder what they're gonna think about. Don't be so focused on what other people think about you, because even them, they have their own insecurities. So when you waste your time thinking about impressing other people, and other people are just as sick, you totally wasting your time. So be confident, okay? And good luck in your 20s. Mine were excruciating and full of mistakes that could have been avoided. And really, these mistakes made me even depressed, because I felt like I don't know how to get out of this. But it was really just simple things, okay? You could say you're depressed, but it's just really simple things. So yeah, think about that. All right, thank y'all. Mwah. Subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. All right, thank y'all so much. Bye.